What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, how was the weekend, buddy? It's dude, we have an extra long weekend once in a while, and it throws me right off. There's a ton of stuff to talk about today.
Oh man, I feel like I haven't slept, but that's all exactly usual.
Dude, that's nothing new. Not for you. But you know what is new? It's the end of Stadia, buddy. That's on today's show, where people can join us live every day, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later, InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the world. Scott, what happened to the massive tech giant and their gaming platform? Google Stadia is officially shutting down. That's today's hot topic. We do have a couple others if we get to them, because dude, there's a lot to unpack. Ready to get into it?
It has been a busy weekend, that's for sure.
Dude, it is. What a mess.
Even as we're putting this together, there's more and more breaking coming out, a lot of rumors going around. It'll be an interesting show tomorrow.
There's a lot happening right now with Stadia. This is the official message from Phil Harrison over at what used to be Google Stadia. He's a vice president and general manager of Stadia. For many years, Google has invested across multiple aspects of the gaming industry. We helped developers build and distribute gaming apps on Google Play and Google Play Games. Gaming creators are reaching audiences around the world on YouTube through videos, live streaming, and shorts. And our cloud streaming technology delivers immersive gameplay at massive scale. That's to get started, Scott. A few years ago, though, we also launched a consumer gaming service, Stadia. And while Stadia's approach to streaming games for consumers was built on a strong technology foundation, it hasn't gained the traction with users that we expected. So we've made the difficult decision to begin winding down Stadia streaming services. We're grateful to the dedicated Stadia players that have been with us from the start. Scott, that was you and I. We were there, buddy. We will be refunding all Stadia hardware purchases made through the Google Store and all game and add-on content purchases made through the Stadia Store. Players will continue to have access to their games library and play through January 18th of 2023 so they can complete final play sessions. We expect to have the majority of refunds completed by mid-January of 2023. We have more details for players on this process at their help center. The underlying technology platform that powers Stadia has proven at scale and transcends gaming. We see clear opportunities to apply this technology across other parts of Google, like YouTube, Google Play, and their augmented reality efforts, as well as make it available to our industry partners, which aligns with where we see the future of gaming headed. We remain deeply committed to gaming, and we will continue to invest our tools, technology, and platforms that power the success of developers, industry partners, cloud customers, and creators. For the Stadia team, building and supporting Stadia from the ground up has been fueled by the same passion for gamers that our players have. Many of the Stadia team members will be carrying this work forward in part of the company. We're so grateful for the groundbreaking work of the team, and we look forward to continuing to have an impact across gaming and other industries using foundational Stadia streaming technology. Scott, there's a lot there just to say we're shutting it all down.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of words that really mean never mind. It's this starts off really strange, and as Northern Nerdcast joins, he says, "Did Google hire Sony's PR team?" And I think that's kind of funny, because that does explain, well, the very PR friendly intro we got. They're gonna kind of summarize where they are in the space, what their intentions were, but unfortunately it just really did not take off the ground, and that's really painful. There's a few things that stand out to me, though, that they leave little hints. Our augmented reality efforts. Yeah, that's the one that stands out to me. Now, I'm not totally aware of where that technology is. I haven't really read about augmented reality in 10 years since the Microsoft attempt was.
Yeah, HoloLens. Dude, remember that thing?
Yeah.
Yo, when Minecraft came out of that table, dude, that was sick.
That did look really cool.
Right? Yeah, it took it to a whole other level, and then it just vanished. Kind of like Stadia today, which is just, dude, what happened? Like, I've got theories. I've got a thousand different theories, and we've been talking about Stadia's issues, I think, for the last year and a half, 2 years at least, probably at this point, right? We were there. We were founders on day one.
Almost its entire lifetime. We've kind of had
unfortunately,
nitpicks here and there, but it was not nitpicks.
No, it turned out to be justified, right? I think that's really kind of where it comes down to. It was one of those things like, man, we saw the writing on the wall. The biggest thing for me was when they shut down Jade's studio. When they shut down Jade Raymond's studio, I'm like, that's it. You guys are done. Like this, there is no future for you guys here, unfortunately, which is just mind blowing because they opened up the doors and opportunities for NVIDIA to kick in with their cloud streaming, right? GeForce Now, as well as Xbox to come over with Xbox cloud streaming. I'm like, you guys were there first, and then you just kind of handed it over.
Yeah.
The biggest...
it served a very good point. Like, it served a very good purpose in its little technology field because it was the catalyst. They are the pioneers in some sort of pushing forward this cloud technology, making it popular, and or attempting to make it popular, but popular amongst the industry kind of players, and that does matter.
Absolutely, dude. It had a huge impact when it launched. People were like, does this really work? Like, can you really pull this off? And it was simple, dude. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. What was the problem? All my friends are on Xbox. All my friends are on PlayStation. How do you pull us to Stadia when you have no exclusives? They have Guilt. They launched with Guilt, which was from Tequila Works. It was a great game, but dude, it's not a blockbuster to pull everybody from one platform into the next, right? Like,
no,
that's the biggest thing.
There's one other that I can think of, and that is Hello Engineer, the Hello Neighbor kind of spinoff. That is also exclusive as far as my understanding. It's exclusive and will be going offline with Stadia. Now, in that particular case, I don't know if there's anybody that's going to miss it, but there really wasn't a whole lot in terms of exclusivity. There's just those two titles that I'm aware of.
Well, then let's get into what could have been, Scott, because this one comes from our good friends Bobby over at Console Creatures. Kojima planned a Stadia exclusive follow-up to Death Stranding, but it was turned down. Who did that?
Somebody said no to Kojima?
Dude, you wanna pull people over. You lead with, hey, we got Kojima. There's a reason why PlayStation said, hey, Kojima's building something for PlayStation, and then it's sold like crazy because everybody in this industry follows Kojima. Even if you don't follow, you've heard of this guy. Everybody has heard of Metal Gear Solid. Everybody has heard of Death Stranding, whether you like it or not, right? He comes with such a weight behind him and such a high pedigree that, yo, Kojima wants to come over? Yep, let's do it. But let's get into the article. Hideo Kojima and his company, Kojima Productions, released Death Stranding on PlayStation 4 in 2019. Following a successful launch, the studio wanted to work on its next title, which was apparently meant to be an exclusive title for Google's now dead Stadia platform. According to a report by 9 to 5 Google, Kojima Productions was to work on a new title, but it isn't confirmed if it was a title that we think was the sequel to Death Stranding. So an asynchronous multiplayer game where you could indirectly interact with other players by building bridges, leaving messages, and helping others get to their destination. Instead, this project was supposedly a single player title. From the sounds of it, the decision to make the experience strictly single player is what led to Google to axe the project because Google assumed the project wouldn't sell.
I'm not sure what alien they talked to that gave them that answer.
Man, what a mistake, Scott. If there's any saving grace to this platform, it would be to have Kojima Productions involved.
It's an unfortunate idea that seems to be floating around that single player games don't sell well, and I don't know how many
Ridiculous.
times we have to beat that kind of assumption before people wake up to the idea. No, there is a huge hunger for single player games, as
Huge.
made obvious by Metal Gear. Now, I know you can say there's a Metal Gear Online in 5, but I don't know if that's anybody's real focus. I don't know if that's what pushed the game out the door.
No, not at all. Dude, Metal Gear Solid 4's multiplayer was fantastic. I played so much of that. It was incredible.
I wasn't even aware there is. I have to play 4. Can I borrow your setup?
I think I got it. Dude, I have it. Yo, I got it. So, yeah.
Within arm's reach.
It's right there. Dude, I'm a Metal Gear fan. I'm a Kojima fan. It is mind-blowing that someone thought, nah, it's a single-player game for Kojima. That won't sell. You got to be kidding me, right? Like, you got to be kidding me. Just look at the Metal Gear numbers alone. Don't, like, that's all. It's all really single-player, right? It's right from Metal Gear 1 to 5. Yep.
The asynchronous amount that happens in Death Stranding is really cool, and that's not done as far as I know of beforehand. Yeah. But it is predominantly a single player game. It doesn't matter if you or I, it's No Man's Sky. People used to talk about that. Can we meet each other online? If I'm on the same planet, will I see you? And the answer was no, until it was yes. But the same thing happens in Death Stranding. We'll never actually find each other. I might put down a bridge and somebody else might find it, but the single player aspect is what sold the game. You're not going in there to hang out with your friends.
Yeah. So the fact that somebody decided to turn down Kojima, dude, like Google's problem was the lack of exclusives, the lack of studios that would build just for Stadia, right? Like, they don't even have to be first party. Make them second party so that they are just launching exclusives on the platform. When you bring over a 4-year-old game from a different platform, who cares? Honestly, at that point, really, like, who's investing? Because, dude, I played that 4 years ago, and so did the next person and the next person. You might catch the other person. Holy crap, cool, this is over here. I haven't played this yet. I'll get that one, right? And you're there to go. You're ready to go. But at the same time, dude, when you bring over Batman Arkham Asylum, somebody's played that already. Like, most people have already played that and finished it.
Fortunately, I own Valhalla on Xbox now, because that would have been the one. That's Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the kind of the outstanding title that I really wanted to play. But as we complain about often, the backlog is real, so I have not gotten to that one yet. But yeah, this is painful. I wonder if Google wasn't able to offer enough of an incentive, pay enough to these developers to bring them in, or maybe the developments thought, it's not going to sell on Stadia, so why bother? But I feel like that's a business blunder. It's not for lack of tech or lack of talent.
I think, honestly, that they had clearly they have the money, because they're going to refund everybody who has a Stadia controller and refund all the games. I'm like, who does that? Most companies would go, we're just shutting down. Sorry about your luck. So I got to give it to Google to one aspect, that they're actually going to refund people, which I am just shocked by altogether. Dude, I'll be honest. I'm keeping my controllers. I'm not sending those back. I'm keeping those things, and I'll mount them.
Do you return them to get the refund, or do you have to just prove point of sale? Because I haven't pursued it myself at all.
I haven't either, just because I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's just
if I get the refund, that means I got a free Google Stadia or Chromecast. I mean,
yeah, I do have the Chromecast, which I use all the time.
Beefy Ethernet port on it. I like that.
To take this one step further, Scott, I went on to Stadia's YouTube channel. There isn't a single video there now. Is all gone, wiped out, dude. The fact that they still have a channel doesn't make any sense. But you can go to the Google Stadia channel, but there is not a single video there. That is
strange to me.
What else is strange, Scott, is that nobody even knew this was coming. Game developers and Stadia employees alike were blindsided by the sudden shutdown. Everyone from Destiny 2 designers to Google's own staff were caught off guard. This comes from Ethan over at Kotaku, who had a massive article. I highly recommend you go over there, check it out. We do have a few things to talk about here that I've kind of picked and chose, but yeah. A few thought Google's trouble streaming service Stadia, this has got me all tongue-tied, might be become a dormant player in the games industry, but almost no one expected it to shut down so abruptly, including the company's own employees. Stadia VP Phil Harrison, fast becoming the grim reaper of new gaming initiatives, formed staff of the news around the same time everyone else was learning about it from a public blog post. Wow. Work they had been doing up until the very moment suddenly became irrelevant, while developers in the middle of porting their games to Stadia still have no idea what comes next. Quote, Tangle Tower was due to launch on Stadia in 2 days' time, and this article was the first I had heard about it shutting down, end quote. This comes from Tom, one half of the Snipperclip studio SBB Games, tweeted out the other day. Other developers felt similarly sucker punched. Quote, we have a title coming out November 1st, end quote, replied Rebecca. Now we hear about this, end quote. Dude, nobody had a clue. The developers, like Ubisoft, was on there going, hey, everybody, we're trying to figure out what to do with your save file next. IO Interactive was out there going, hey, Hitman fans, we see what's going on. We're working on how to transition that over. What's our next approach kind of thing, right? Destiny 2 developer, Bungie, went in and they were like, now, even some of the company's biggest partners in the gaming world are scrambling to figure out what to do next. Destiny 2, one of Stadia's first big gets, with Bungie making a big push to bring streaming players into the fold in its all-sprawling space MMO. Even the famed Halo creator was apparently underprepared for the news, however. Quote, we just learned about Stadia shutting down and have begun conversations about next steps for our players, end quote. Bungie posted on its support forum the other day. Some of the studio's own developers also took to Twitter to talk about how helpful the begrudging streaming platform had been for keeping the game continually updated, especially during COVID. Quote, it's funny. Most of the world views Stadia as a gimmick that nobody bothered with, end quote, tweeted activity designer Max Nichols. Quote, but hundreds of us use it every day at Bungie as part of our internal playtesting workflow, end quote.
Oh.
Destiny 2 and other games on Stadia will continue to be playable until the shutdown on January 28th. Dude, that is huge.
I've never heard of
a mistake.
Oh, excuse me. I've never heard of. I'm not sure how to process all of this information, but I've never heard of somebody just kind of discovering their project was over with via public blog post. The only time I've ever seen that happen is with kind of lesser known bands. Music bands that come to an end, and they only find out because the guitar quit on Twitter. But this is a multi-million-dollar, perhaps billion-dollar company, and this is the way they shut it down. It doesn't seem professional.
Not professional at all, dude. Stadia just dropped it and said, that's it, we're out. Ubisoft was like, yo, we had no idea. Everybody over at Bungie's like, well, this is a first. Like, what do we do here? And their biggest focus now, right, from IO Interactive to Ubisoft to Bungie themselves and everybody, even the smaller developers over there who are getting ready to launch brand new games or port their games over, just found out through a blog post that this is coming. Some of the developers said, so the way Stadia works is that they have actual internal partners that they speak with of what the next steps are. Some spoke to those partners that week and had no idea. Those partners that were talking to the people, they had no idea. Dude, they just like, we're shutting it down. Unbelievable. What a misstep. No. What a mishandle. And this is not how you treat people in this industry or anybody, just to say, hey, we're done. Like, man, you give those people heads up. They have thousands or millions of people out there playing their games. And now they're all scrambling at this point, trying to figure out what's the next step. It is crazy.
It's one thing to consider the customer, and you can offer refunds, and they're doing right by that, at least offering the refunds and trying to transfer games over and stuff. But that ends up being a developer thing. And even if you're a consumer and you thought, well, Stadia, it's not for me, that's weak, whatever. All these development firms really did use it in some capacity. There's a lot of money spent on this, or at least just utility.
Yeah.
It really just boggles the mind. Now I'm wondering if Tangle Tower, is that going to come to Game Pass now immediately?
Well,
Will
that's
there
just
be
it.
other companies kind of come in and swoop it up?
Well, so now all these other developers who are working on putting their stuff on Stadia are like, okay, where do we go now? Like, we've invested money, time, effort, everything into this, and now they're just out left to hang, and it's crazy. Dude, let's get into one last article for Stadia today before we close her down. We'll be back tomorrow though, so don't worry. Red Dead Redemption 2 fan, nearly 6,000 hours on Stadia played, is begging Rockstar for help. Dude,
6,000 hours, man. I have to just let that register here.
Just let that sit for a second, okay?
Is that more time than you've played on Siege? That's what I'm wondering.
It is by like 5,000 hours almost. I'm probably like 1,200 hours into Siege.
And I think that's about 7 years into the life cycle of Siege too.
Yes, it is. Yeah, but Hope. This comes from Hope over Games Radar. A Red Dead Redemption player with almost 6,000 hours logged on Google Stadia is begging Rockstar to allow character transfer after the news of the service's closure. YouTuber It's Color TV took to Twitter shortly after the news that Google Stadia is shutting down broke out yesterday. Quote, "No, you don't understand how seriously mad I am at this." The tweet read alongside the screenshot that shows they put 5,907 hours into Red Dead Redemption on the Google gaming service of Stadia.
Oh man, they must be almost at the end of the single player.
Right? A Red Dead Redemption player with almost 6,000 hours logged on to Stadia, begging Rockstar to allow character transfer after the news of service. Oh, dude, it looks like I copied that in there twice. Weird. It seems that fellow Red Dead Redemption players felt sympathetic towards It's Color TV, with many replying to the tweet with suggestions of how to save their players' save. But It's Color TV said it's all online. He doesn't play single player.
Oh.
Dude.
Oh no.
Oh dude. Like, what do you do? That is, I feel awful for him. That is really, really rough. Like, that sucks. Like, really sucks, man.
I believe Rockstar will be able to save that as long as they can work with Google to kind of facilitate the transfer, because I only know my experience from Frontier, Elite Dangerous, which I believe is Elite Dangerous 3 would be the one that I was playing on Xbox. But when you buy it on PC, you have the option to move your save files over because they can only exist in one place. So I know there is precedent for that. You can actually transfer your save stuff.
Well, dude, we've transferred our Grand Theft Auto characters over like 3 generations.
Oh, that's true. We have done that as well.
Right? So Rockstar can do it. Whether or not they hear from the voice of It's Color TV, I think is the other thing. So I wish him all the best. I hope it works out, but I feel awful for him. But Scott, that is today's show, however. But we do have a couple releases today. What do we have, man?
We have Vesper Ether Saga Episode 1 on PC, and we have Breach Hardcore Marauders. Sorry, I'm struggling to understand this. Marauders is entering Steam Early Access. That is a hardcore looter shooter.
Yes, it's very much in the realm of, I think, something like Vigor, if I'm correct. Okay. If I'm correct on that, it's very much, I think, something you should check out. I saw that and I'm like, yo, this is a Scott title. You should check that one out. So there is that. Dude, what a show today. Just a lot of questions still about what's up with Stadia. We'll have more on it, I'm sure, over the coming weeks, days, maybe even months yet, as more and more kind of come out of that. But it's an unfortunate event. Everybody hit us up over on the official ITG on Twitter. Let us know, what are your thoughts on the Google Stadia and how that's been handled, and did you play it at all? Because Scott and I were founders on day one. Dude, we believed. We got fooled, man. We've been bamboozled, Scott. But just like that, that's today's show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. You can always join us live at 11 a.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, TV streaming networks around the globe. Until tomorrow, I'm Drew. That's Scott. And we'll see you inside the game.